This is the PR Mega Draft Tournament. Today I'll be going up against Nest, aka Bexro, and Chosen will be commentating our game. Each match is a best of 3, while the finals will be a best of 5.
Going into game number 1, KudO at the bottom, Bexro at the top. We can see that the good win conditions on the board are pretty. There's not that many good building options, but Bexro did get the NATO for something like a hog. He's probably going for a more control type deck, so might pick like Ice Wizard, might pick more control-y cards like that. And KudO's probably going for a more cycle type beat with either the Wall Breakers or the Hog Rider. Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna be. And okay, so it's gonna be Mortar from KudO. Interesting. He'll probably want to pick up cards that can counter the Skeleton Barrel pretty easily, because that's gonna be a problem card if he doesn't have his Mortar in hand. And Mother Witch is definitely a card that'll help with that. Bexer probably is gonna pick the Fireball here as a spell because of that Mother Witch. And he doesn't pick a card, so it picks Eagle. Wow, that is definitely unfortunate. Honestly, KudO could probably just pick Bomb Tower and be perfectly fine, because he wants to, if he has Bomb, honestly, that might be a good shout. Just to pick another building, but yeah, Cannon Cart definitely good for those ground defenses and has pretty good synergy with Mortar. And picks the Bomber for some splash. Okay, another Skeleton Barrel answer potentially. Not that good actually, but so we'll probably see Bexel picking the Fireball in his last 2 slots to have some answer for the Mother Witch, because it's kind of unkillable right now. And he picks the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Interesting. I guess for the Golden Knight and Cannon Cart, it's pretty useful actually. So KudO, I honestly don't know what he's gonna pick. There's a lot of good options. And picks the Princess. Okay. So he's gonna have another source of damage than the Mortar. That's kind of good, because his options are probably either Wall Breakers or Princess as a secondary win condition, or a Hog, but he does have NATO for the Hog, so probably not. And doesn't pick again, so it picks Sparky. And going into this match, honestly, KudO has, he's probably the person to win this, but you never know. Some wacky picks from Bexer might throw KudO's game off guard. Okay, the Mortar countered by the Knight and the Sparky. This is funny to see those cards together. Ooh, and Split Lane Pressure. Can he get the ability off? And he does. Wow, perfect timing. And the Mother Witch going to counter the Skeleton Barrel and create a counter push opposite lane as well. So dual lane pressure, low elixir is Bexro. Mini P.E.K.K.A. for the left. But this Princess plus Goblin push is going to be pretty effective in getting some good chip damage. What is KudO going to counter this with? And the Bomber doesn't kite the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And that's going to be... Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. That honestly might cost him the game. He had a pretty sizable advantage through elixir and tower damage, but now he's basically lost that. He's down to in a position where he you know, is going to be behind going into double elixir in about 40 seconds. And Eagle in the back kind of just setting up this big battle healer Sparky push that he's probably going to build. KudO's poison isn't going to be as effective due to this battle healer. And Knight to pull the mortar pretty good. Honestly, these goblins are going to be really effective at just killing this eagle because he doesn't have like arrows or anything to kill them. But this mini P.E.K.K.A going in, does he have a counter? Wow, the Kanakar forced out. That's not something you want to do, but oh, and goblins wasted as well. He is technically like even because of the board presence he has, but honestly, not playing that bomber gets him up to elixir, and now he's almost back in the damage race, and mortar comes out offensively, caught by the knight. Wow, this is just a lot of bridge pressure, just trying to punish the eagle and not allow him to build this huge push that Bexro is trying to do. Goblins at the river to try to kill this eagle early. Ooh, but the delivery is able to hit them. Kind of a mistake from KudO. When the NATO trying to kill everything with the mini P.E.K.K.A, this Mother Witch is going to create a lot of pigs going the opposite direction. And now the split lane pressure from the mortar comes KudO. Another Kanakar on the river. I don't think he'll be able to stop this in both lanes. That is going to be game number 1 to KudO most likely. And yeah, it will be. GG's. Honestly, Bexro, his deck didn't really have a lot of synergy. He had Eagle and Battle Healer, but that's about it. Sparky didn't really do anything in that match. That was game number 1 to KudO. And going into game number 2, looking at this board position, the win conditions are Royal Hogs, Graveyard, Skeleton Barrel, Balloon, Hog Rider, and Ram Rider. If you're looking at the air counters, there's a lot of air counters, so Balloon might not be the answer here. KudO picking arrows, Bexro picking Log Snowball, just to have good responses to the bait cards like Goblin Gang and Skarmy and Bats. So he's going to go with the Fisherman. He might want to go Recruits Balloon. That might be the deck he's trying to create. Because that is a really good synergy. The Ice Wizard here just to have basically another spell with his entrance. And splash damage and just overall defensive utility. And the Little Prince going to be a pretty good champion. 3 elixir cheap and air countering. And the Prince picked, honestly, you go Recruits here if you're KudO, because it's a good counter to the Prince. It's good synergy with the Fisherman. Yep. And I'm thinking Balloon is his win condition, but he might just want to pick Goblin Gang or Bats or probably something to just have a quick cycle, easy counter. And he picks the Goblins. Pretty interesting. Honestly, don't really like I guess the Goblins are really good. Prince counter, a good cheap one. That or the Goblin Gang probably would have been my pick, but it is still a good pick. And Bowler for the Croots is really good, but the Fisherman honestly might make that a bit harder to play just because if you play it too high, the Fisherman can pull it and deal with it on your side. Ooh, Archers. Honestly, not that good of a pick just because of the arrows. Like, if Bexro doesn't pick anything else that is like arrows bait, he's just gonna hold those arrows until the archers come out, and they're gonna be useless this entire game. And KudO has a pretty quick cycle, so he'll basically never get out cycled with the arrows. And Skeleton King is a pretty interesting pick. He does have some bait options. Oh, and the graveyard pick, so it does give KudO an advantage actually because of the skeletons from the graveyard being able to fuel the Skeleton King's ability. And then Bloom, yep, it's a good shout. Not really. There is like the archers, the Little Prince, and the Snowball, and the Tesla. So some pretty good balloon counters. But I don't know how he's gonna defend the recruits plus balloon. KudO does have some decent graveyard counters in the bats and the goblins, but they're spellable. But the thing about the log is it won't be able to kill the goblins that are killing the graveyard. So maybe a higher graveyard placement might be the option here, just to be able to log the graveyards. I mean the goblins for the graveyard. KudO wanting to play slower here, and so does Bexro, because their decks are kind of heavy with the Croots and the Balloon. With Graveyard, you kind of want to play defensive until you have a big counter push, and or an elixir advantage, or an opportunity to break through. And KudO gonna be putting the Croots in the back just to respond to the Prince and the Bowler. He'll probably need another card, and he will. Will this activate King? It won't, because it's locked onto the Recruits. He'll probably want to do that in the future, so the graveyards are just that much easier. Okay, those split bats, and predicts the archers in the middle with the arrows, but does not catch them, but it still kills the little prince. And these recruits might get some damage. No, they won't. Good defense from Bexro, forcing out the Ice Whiz as well with that Guardian. It's pretty even in Elixir. Bexro having a slight, like half Elixir lead. Going into double Elixir, probably going to see more defense from Bexro. Just waiting for an overcommit from KudO with the recruits. Like, if he can defend the recruits and then get his bowler and get his prince in with his graveyard, honestly going to be a good shout. These goblins are going to be really hard to deal with, though. If he uses his log, they're just going to be for the prince every single time. So little prince comes out just to deal with the recruits on that side, and the ability comes out, but he only has 5 elixir to defend. Recruits plus the loon. Does he have arrows in hand? No, he does not. He decides not to arrow that. KudO will have a possible counter push option, but the bowler is basically just going to shut down that lane. Well played from Bexro. The split bats are going to be super annoying, forcing out the snowball early, allowing this Skeleton King just to try to overwhelm. But really good dual lane defense from KudO. I mean, from Bexro. And now this loon is not going to get any damage, and Bexro's slight elixir advantage, just being able to defend that relatively well, taking a few hundred damage. But the Skeleton King, honestly, it might be the thing that makes a difference in this matchup if KudO uses it correctly. Fisherman pulls the Little Prince really good to get rid of that 3-card cycle. Arrows on the archers to deal with them. Bowler kind of just shuts down that right lane and cycles to another bowler. Wow. It's a super hard matchup with the bowler, basically, because if he's able to cycle multiple of them, you're kind of never be able to break through. And wow, it's going to be a graveyard push. Recruits to block the bridge, really, really good. Skeleton King to defend. Honestly, goblins might have been good there since the symbol was already used. Ooh, but he's, saving it. He might be able to activate King. Oh, it's locked onto the Skeleton King, not the Fisherman, unfortunately. Again. He's probably going to try to cycle 2 balloons here, just to try to get the Tesla out of cycle. So the high archers probably going to be arrowed immediately. Yep. Oh, and misses an archer. Kind of unfortunate, but hits the Little Prince and the Teslas. And another graveyard push coming in. It's going to be a base race, basically. And the snowball used on defense, not allowing to be able to kill the bats. And it's basically no damage on both sides. Bexro still with that lead in both lanes. Here comes another balloon push. Little Prince doing work. I mean, Little Prince is the MVP of this match. That's going to be game number 2 for Bexro. If this balloon it's not going to be able to get on tower, and graveyard, it does swarm the tower. Honestly, KudO kind of committing early with the recruits. Maybe you want to pick the recruits like last, just so Bexro cannot get a lot of counters early with because he knows your plan if you pick recruits early, but maybe a later pick would have helped. You know, maybe you try to do more defensive cards like pick your Icewiz, pick your Goblins and Bats early, and then the recruits like later in the game, so we can't pick the bowler like right away. Get arrows pick from KudO. It's good seeing the Bats, seeing the Dark Goblin. It's basically going to be there for all of those swarmy troops, and log picked from Bexro. Only big spells are Rocket and Earthquake. There were none last time, which is kind of weird. The win conditions: Giant, Hog Rider, Miner, Wall Breakers, and Ram Rider. Very ground based. There are no air based win conditions. Oh, also Drill is certainly a win condition. So basically, you don't really need to pick any air options unless lava is picked, which doesn't look like it, honestly. Does not really any good support cards for lava. That's basically a dead card. And looks like okay, it's gonna be like a bridge spam drill type of deck from Bexro, and KudO might go like a wall breakers spam. Maybe a miner deck. Probably miner wall breakers might be a good idea, but my cannon. Ooh, honestly, the cannon not that good of a card because he didn't really have any cannon targets. But now the Earthquake plus the Hog Rider, basically, he's gonna have to pick a counter to the Hog again because he's gonna need 2 counters. Maybe the Ram Rider, maybe the P.E.K.K.A. And picks the lava because there's not that many air counters, but the Tesla gonna be picked, and maybe like a wizard. Wizard might just be the pick for Bexro. Honestly, I would do that. Just have a air counter that can't. Oh, yeah, and he's gonna pick the miner to support the lava. I would honestly pick wizard. That's the card that would help you the most with the lava defenses. And he picks Little Prince. That's also good. It's a champion. It's cheaper than the wizard, but okay. Going into game number 3. Wow. KudO being one of the other commentators, if he gets out game round number 1, kind of bad showing from him. Hog Rider. Yep. So basically, KudO is going to be trying to just defend really in single elixir until he can get that lava out. And Bexro having the big spell, having the Earthquake, can just try to get damage early and then finish off the spell cycle at the end if necessary. Bexro playing Drill, unfortunately plays it into the Queen. It's going to be pretty easily countered with the Ice Spirit. Going to take about 300 damage there, but Queen on the counter push, and is just going to go lava at the bridge. Probably a Tesla going to come out from Bexro. Yep, a low Tesla, just to bait off this Lava Hound. And uses the ability of the Little Prince to catch the miner, and also the Bandit to kill it. If it can stay alive, that's going to be huge. Yep, and it does, so it's just going to clean up all these lava pups. Bexro having a slight elixir disadvantage, but coming out on top with this hog and EQ ready. Not gonna. Ooh, that might be one. No, that's not one. I think later these hogs are gonna be super hard to stop, basically because the only thing they can really counter with is the bats after the cannon goes down. But EQ push might be what he tries to do. EQ and then push with the Ice Spirit is probably what he's gonna do later into double elixir, just when all the drill and hog pushes just get bigger. Dark Goblin plus miner to deal with the bandit and the Dark Prince can enforce out a lot of damage coming in on his right hand tower, his KudO. And honestly, not much to show for it with the Lava Hound being Tesla down in the top left. Another lava going into his weak side tower. That's the right decision, but opposite lane pressure with the Hog, with the Bandit, Little Prince, and Dark Prince. I don't think he can stop this. And I think that's going to be GG unless he can take the top right-hand tower. But the Dark Element is just going to be responded with the Tesla, and wow, that's going to be GG. KudO is knocked out. Round 1 by Bexro. Just honestly subpar deck mix. You know, he didn't have many ground counters. I don't think he had a single ground counter that game aside Miner, so not able to pick up the win. And Bexro is going to move on to round number 2.
So yeah, guys, unfortunately, I couldn't beat Nest. He will be moving on to the semifinals, where he'll face either Destroyer or Ugarte. Me and Chosen are going to commentate the next couple games, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.